Good day, everyone. Hopefully, at this point, you were able to watch the lecture video on product costing methods, where we already compared absorption, variable, and throughput costing methods. Because today, we're going to have some exercises or focus on just a review involving some theory and problem exercises. Okay, but let's have a very brief background of the difference between your absorption and variable costing methods. But remember, under both methods, all variable costs are inventoriable. That actually includes your direct materials, your direct labor, and your variable overhead. These are actually variable manufacturing costs. But the difference lies on these two. First, the treatment of your fixed manufacturing overhead. Because remember, in absorption costing method, we treat fixed manufacturing overhead as part of your product cost. But with variable costing method, it was mentioned that whether you produce or not, you still have to incur and pay for your fixed overhead. So therefore, it should be expensed immediately or considered as your as one of your operating costs. Okay. So number two, there is also a difference in the income statement preparation of the different costs. Okay, so let's recall that for absorption costing method, we normally prepare our income statement using this format, wherein we have our sales, and then we deduct all the cost of goods sold, so we will arrive with our gross profit. And then after that, we deduct the operating expenses that include variable non-manufacturing costs and fixed non-manufacturing costs, or variable OPEX and fixed OPEX, and that would result to your operating income. Now, if we are going to prepare the income statement under the variable costing method, we use the contribution margin approach, wherein we segregate the cost of goods sold into variable and fixed component, and actually, the operating expenses are already segregated into variable and fixed component. So in variable costing method, we deduct all the variable costs first, and then afterwards, we deduct all your fixed costs, and we will arrive with your operating income. So just to show, so we have here your sales first, and then we deduct all the variable costs to arrive at your contribution margin. But if ever that you will just deduct the variable manufacturing costs, you are going to arrive with your manufacturing contribution margin. And if you will then deduct the variable non-manufacturing cost, that is the time that we now produce your or compute your contribution margin. Just be careful because the question in the exam might only be the manufacturing contribution margin, because if that's the case, we just have to deduct the variable manufacturing cost. But if we are asked for the contribution margin, we have to deduct all the variable expenses, whether manufacturing or non-manufacturing costs. And then after your contribution margin, we now deduct all your fixed expenses, the fixed manufacturing cost, which is your fixed overhead, and your fixed non-manufacturing cost or your fixed operating cost. And then we now arrive with the operating income. Okay, if your production is equal to your sales, the operating income will just be the same. But there are instances that there are changes in the inventory levels. Okay, that happens if the production will not be the same as your sales. So first, let's have what if your production is equal to your sales? What happens at your inventory? That is unchanged, meaning your beginning inventory is just the same with your ending inventory. Okay? Because beginning plus production minus sold would be your ending. So there will be no change. So your profit under absorption and variable costing methods will just be the same. But if your production would exceed your sales, meaning there are more units produced than what you have sold, that means that there will be increase in your inventories. Therefore, your beginning inventory would be less than the ending inventory. And that would result to the income or profit of your absorption greater than that of the variable costing method. And if your production is less than sales, meaning you were able to sell more units than you produced, therefore the inventory will decrease. And when you compare the beginning and the ending inventory, so the beginning would be greater than the ending inventory. Okay, and then the profit will actually, we will be having the profit under absorption less than that of the variable. So remember in the lecture video, if you have watched that, so there we have a clue that alphabetically arranged, P comes first with the S, then A comes first before V. So we just follow the sign here. So if P is greater than S, A is greater than V. So if P is less than S, A is less than V. All right. And for throughput costing method, we will just add throughput costing method at the end of the comparison. And then we just copy the sign and then we add the throughput costing method here. Then we copy the sign again and add the throughput costing method at the end. All right. So let's have some exercises. True or false? In absorption costing, costs are seldom segregated into variable and fixed costs. The answer is true. Okay, we normally segregate the variable and fixed costs when we are using the variable costing method. So let's proceed with the next one. So we have fixed factory overhead is treated as product cost for both the variable and conventional absorption costing methods. So the answer is actually false. Because remember, fixed factory overhead is part of the product cost only for absorption costing method. Because for variable costing method, fixed overhead is treated as part of your operating expenses or period cost. Okay, so let's move to the next one. Fixed manufacturing overhead under absorption costing is expensed in the period when the units to which such fixed overhead has been related are sold. So the answer is true. Okay, so we only expense the fixed overhead when the units are sold. Meaning if we are not able to sell that units, so the fixed overhead component will be part of your inventory, not part of your expense. So let's move to the next item. When production is equal to sales, the fixed overhead expense under absorption costing equals the fixed overhead expenses under variable costing. So what would be your answer? The answer is true. It is as if that we are saying that all the expenses deducted are just the same, meaning the operating income would be the same. So that happens when P is equal to S. But remember, if P is greater than S, what will happen to the profit? Absorption profit would be greater than that of the variable profit. If P is less than S or production is less than your sales, the profit under absorption would be less than the profit under the variable costing method. Okay, so let's proceed with the next item. One of the arguments concerning variable costing is that the segregation of costs into fixed and variable might be difficult, particularly in the case of mixed costs. The answer is true. Okay, so we have to make use either of the high-low method or the scatter graph or scatter diagram, or we can actually make use the linear regression or the least square method. Okay, so the answer is true. Next, the matching principle is violated by using variable costing, which excludes fixed overhead from product costs and charges the same to period costs regardless of the production and sales. The answer is true. That is one of the limitations or disadvantages of using the variable costing method. So this is true. And again, as mentioned in the lecture video, remember that only the absorption costing method conforms with the gap. Next, throughput margin is equal to revenue less direct material cost of the goods sold. The answer is true. Because for absorption, the product cost would include your direct materials, your direct labor, your variable overhead, and your fixed overhead. But for your variable costing method, the product cost would include your direct materials, your direct labor, and your variable overhead are simply the variable manufacturing cost. But for the throughput costing method, your product cost would include only the direct materials. So therefore, to come up with the throughput margin, you just have to deduct cost of goods sold or the direct materials component of the unit sold from that of the revenue. So the answer is true. Another item, when production is higher than sales, absorption costing profit is lower than variable costing profit. Again, if P is greater than S, so therefore A should be greater than your variable costing method. So meaning, whenever we are given with a situation comparing the P and S, the production and your sales, we always have to follow the sign. Okay, when we are comparing the profit under absorption and variable. But if you are comparing the inventory level, it's the other way around. Because if P is greater than S, B is less than E. Okay, so let's check. So what would be your answer now in this item? The answer is false. Because if P is S, A should be higher, not lower than the variable costing method. Right. So another question. What if all the products manufactured during the period are sold in that period? So variable costing profit is equal to absorption costing profit. The answer is true. We have just mentioned in the previous item. All right, so let's move to the next. Direct costing and variable costing are different terms that means the same thing or that mean the same thing. The answer is true. So when you are asked for the operating income under direct costing method, you are also being asked actually of the operating income under the variable costing method. So the two terms are just the same. So the difference in profit between variable costing and absorption costing is due entirely to the treatment of the fixed overhead. Okay, so what would be your answer? That is true. So when we are comparing absorption and variable costing profit, the only difference lie on the fixed overhead component. We just have to get the difference in the inventory. We compare P and S, we compare B and E, meaning we compare production and sales, or we compare beginning and ending inventory, whatever the difference is, we just have to multiply with FOH per unit. And that would give you the difference between your absorption and variable costing method. All right. Okay, so let's have this multiple choice theory. So under the variable costing, fixed manufacturing overhead, is it A, expensed immediately when incurred, or B, never expensed, or C, applied directly to finished goods inventory, D, applied directly to work in process inventory, or E, treated in the same manner as variable manufacturing overhead. So we have discussed so much about the variable costing method. So what do? With the fixed overhead? This is expense immediately when incurred. Because according to variable costing method, again, whether you produce or not, you still have to pay for this or you still incur the fixed overhead. So therefore, it should be part of OPEX instead of part of the product cost. So expensed immediately. So that's A. But for absorption costing, this is only expense when the units related to that is or are sold. So let's have number 2. All of the following are inventoried under the variable costing except, is it A, direct materials? Is it B, direct labor? Is it C, variable manufacturing overhead rather? Or is it D, fixed manufacturing overhead? Or is it E, items C and D above? So again, when do we inventory? Or what are inventoried under variable costing? So the answer would be, we are asking for the exception to the rule. So the answer is dog. Because again, fixed overhead is expensed immediately, not inventoriable or not inventoried. All right. So all of the following except, uh, all of the following are expense rather under variable costing method. So which would be expense under variable costing method? The answer is uh-huh. Actually, we are asked for the exception again. So what would be your answer? Is it A, variable manufacturing overhead? Is it B, fixed manufacturing overhead? Is it C, the variable selling and administrative costs? Is it D, fixed selling and administrative costs? Or E, items C and D? The answer is A, because your fixed overhead expense immediately. Your variable and selling fixed variable selling and admin rather, and then the fixed selling and admin costs, whether variable or absorption costing method, these are of course expense immediately. So therefore, the answer for variable costing method, exception to the rule, the answer is A. So number 4, all of the following costs are inventoried under absorption costing, except, okay? So which one is the exception? Inventoried under absorption. So is it the direct materials? Is it the direct labor? Or the variable manufacturing overhead? The fixed overhead? Or the fixed admin salaries? So the answer is letter E. Under absorption, your A, B, C, and D, all of these are product costs or inventoried or inventoriable costs. But when we are asked if this is under absorption, only A, B, and C are inventoried. D and E are both not inventoried. But since we are asked for absorption, the answer would be letter E. All right, so let's have the next item. So all of the following are inventoried under absorption, except, so which one are, what are inventoried under absorption? But we are looking for the exception. Is it A, direct labor? Is it the raw materials used in the production? Is it the utilities cost consumed in manufacturing? Is it sales commission or the machine lubricant used in production? The answer is obviously it's letter D. Okay, so this is not inventory. So let's now answer some problems under absorption, variable, and throughput costing method. So we have here Taking Company with the following information. So the first question, remember, we go first with the question before you try to read the entire problem. But this time, the data or the given are actually organized. So, but we are only asked for the ending inventory under absorption costing method. Okay, so first, we just have to know how many units are at the end of the period. So we have the beginning inventory. Just have to look at the beginning inventory. We have 4,000. How many units are produced? 10,000. How many units are sold? 12,000. So beginning plus produce minus sold. So we have our ending inventory. At the beginning, we have 4,000. And then we produced how many again? 10,000. And we sold 12,000. So how many units are there at the end of the period? So we have 2,000 units. Okay, so since we are asked for the ending inventory under absorption costing method for the amount, so we have to multiply the ending inventory with the unit cost under absorption costing method. So at this point, let's just complete the data about the unit cost. So let's try to compute how much would be the unit cost under the throughput costing method, how much is the unit cost under the variable costing method, and finally, for the absorption costing method, which is actually being asked. For the throughput costing method, we just have to look at the amount of your direct materials per unit. So that would be 3 pesos. So meaning that would be your unit cost under throughput costing method. But for variable costing method, remember, we have here the for the variable costing method, we include all the variable manufacturing costs. So that includes your DM, your DL, and your variable overhead, and that is amounting to 6.25. Okay. But for the absorption costing method, we now add from the variable manufacturing the fixed overhead per unit. So how much do we have here? We have 12,000 pesos as your fixed manufacturing overhead. So with that, how do we compute for the fixed overhead per unit? Do we divide with the number of units produced or the number of units sold? Remember, the overhead is originally based on the production. So therefore, we divide 12,000 by 10,000 units produced. So therefore, the, the FOH per unit or the fixed overhead per unit would be 1.20. So therefore, if we are asked for the unit cost under absorption costing method, the answer would be 6.25 plus 1.2. So the answer is 7.45. So if we are now asked for the amount of ending inventory under absorption costing method, so simply multiply it with 7.45. So the answer is 14,900. That's under absorption. But if we are asked under the variable costing method, 2,000 times the 6.25. So when we are asked for the throughput costing method, 2,000 times 3. But the question is only for absorption costing method. So the answer is 14,900. But how much for variable? We just have to compute. So 6.25 times 2,000. So that's 12,500. But for um, throughput costing method, the answer is 6,000. Okay, let's have question number 2. So if Taking Company implements direct costing method, remember direct costing method is also variable costing method. What would be the total operating expenses? Okay, so the total operating expenses before that includes only your fixed operating expenses and your variable operating expenses, or simply fixed selling and administrative expenses, and this is variable selling and administrative expenses. Again, that is for absorption, but since we are asked for direct costing method, even the FOH would be part of your operating expenses. So therefore, to complete, so we have the fixed selling and administrative expenses, how much? Fixed selling and administrative cost would be 8,000. How about for the variable selling and administrative cost? That's 0.80 per unit sold. So multiply it by 12,000. So how much do we have here? It's 9,600. So therefore, that is your variable OPEX, 9,600. For your fixed overhead, remember, under variable costing method or direct, we are going to expense immediately all your fixed overhead. So that would be 12,000. So therefore, the amount of operating expenses under the direct costing method would be 29,600. All right. So now let's move to the next item. So the answer is 29,600. This time we are asked for the operating income under throughput costing method. So same given. So we just have to get your sales or revenue. How much is that? That's 12,000 times 10 pesos per unit. So that would be 120,000. Okay, what would be your cost of goods sold? For you to arrive at your throughput margin or gross profit. So remember the 12,000 units, the cost of goods sold would be 3 per unit because under throughput costing method, we only use 3 or the direct materials as your product cost. So therefore, the cost of goods sold is 36,000. And then your throughput margin or gross profit is equal to 84,000. Okay. So how much is your OPEX under throughput costing method? So OPEX would include this time. Again, the variable selling and administrative expenses, the fixed selling and administrative expenses, and that would include FOH as well because in throughput costing method, only the DM is the direct materials is the component of your product cost or cost of goods sold, meaning your fixed overhead, your direct labor, and variable overhead, all of this would be part of the operating expenses. So the variable selling and administrative cost is 0.8 times the number of units sold. So how much is that? 0.8 times 12,000. So the answer is how much? 9,600. And then for the fixed selling and admin, so we have here fixed amount of 8,000. And remember, it should be part of the fixed uh OPEX, the FOH. So that would be how much? 12,000. Okay. For the direct labor and variable overhead, actually we can derive the DL and VOH per unit by subtracting the 3 pesos per materials from the 6.25 of variable manufacturing cost. Remember, the variable manufacturing cost includes DM, DL, and VOH. So therefore, the DM is part of the product cost. So therefore, the remaining amount would be for DL, direct labor, and your variable overhead. So that would be 6.25 minus 3. So that would be 3.25. So if we are asked for the combined amount of direct labor and overhead, we simply multiply 3.25 by the number of units produced because this is supposed to be part of the product cost. So therefore, we're going to use the number of units produced, which is 10,000. So the answer here is 32,500. So therefore, the total operating expenses, if we add 9,600, 8,000, 12,000, and 32,500, that would give you 62,100. So now, since we have here the gross profit and total operating expenses, we just have to deduct the total OPEX from the gross profit. So we will arrive with the amount of 21,900. So that's the operating income under the throughput costing method. All right. So I hope that we're able to understand again or to review the absorption, variable, and throughput costing method. But we would like to again use the shortcut that we did in the lecture video. What if we have the income under throughput? So how do we compute the income under absorption and income under the variable costing method? So let's do this. So if Taking Company implements absorption costing method, what would be the operating income? Remember, the unit cost of under absorption a while ago is 7.45. But for your unit cost under the variable costing method, how much is that? 6.25. This one. And then under throughput costing method, it's 3. Okay? So remember, under absorption and variable, or even in throughput costing method, the only difference in the profit lies on the difference in the inventory and difference in the unit cost. And the difference in the unit cost, if we are comparing absorption and variable, is actually the FOH per unit. But in our computation in the previous slide, we were able to determine that the income under throughput costing method is 21,900. So we are asked how much would be for absorption. So the shortcut would be, what is the change in the inventory? Remember, it's either we compare P and S or we compare beginning and ending inventory. Remember, the beginning is 4,000, the ending is 2,000. So the difference in the inventory is 2,000. Or we can actually compare the production and your sales. So the production is 10,000 and then your sales is 12,000. So the difference is still 2,000. So meaning The difference in the inventory here, 2,000, multiply it with the difference in the cost. If we will compare throughput and absorption costing method, just get the difference of the cost of the two. 7.45 minus 3 would be 4.45. Therefore, if this is 4.45 and we will just multiply 2,000 times 4.45 is 8,900. Meaning that would be the difference in the amount of profit of absorption and throughput. Remember, if we compare P and S, P is less than S. So therefore, A is less than V and less than T. So remember, income under absorption should be less than the income under throughput. If the difference in their income is 8,900, therefore, the income under absorption should be less. So we will deduct 8,900. So what we have here is the amount of your income under absorption, which is 13,000. Okay? So the difference between 13,000 and 21,900 is the 8,900, which is the product of your change in inventory times the difference in the unit cost. All right. So let's practice in the next problem. We are now asked for the operating income under direct costing method. So what we have is actually under absorption, and we are being asked for a variable, and we already have the income under throughput. Under absorption, we have computed in the previous slide. This is 13,000. Under throughput, we had computed that this is 21,900. Now, let us prove. We have to compute for the profit under variable. So, where do we want to compute from? From absorption or from throughput? So, let's try. So, if we compare absorption versus variable. Remember, P is, when compared to S, P is less than S because you produced 10,000 and you were able to sell 12,000 units. So therefore, the income would be A is less than V and less than T. So where do we want to compute from? From absorption. So again, difference in the inventory times difference in the unit cost. So difference in the inventory is still 2,000. The difference in the cost of absorption and variable, remember, just to show again, 7.45 for absorption. For variable, it's 6.25. And then for throughput, it's 3. So when we are comparing for absorption and variable profit, the difference is 1.20, which is actually your fixed overhead per unit. So 12,000 divided by 10,000 here. So the answer is 1.20 or 1.2. So if this is 1.20, the product is, when these two are multiplied, is 2,400. Now, A is less than V. By how much? 2,400. So therefore, to arrive at the income under variable costing method, so A should be less than V. So therefore, we just have to add 2,4. So this is 15,400. Okay? So that's the answer under variable costing method. But let us verify if that would be the same if we compute the income under variable now from the throughput. So difference in inventory again, the difference is 2,000. And then the difference in the unit cost would be how much? Compare variable and throughput. You look at the variable, it's 6.25. Under throughput, it's 3. So therefore, the difference is 3.25. So what would be your answer? It's 6,500. So meaning the difference in the profit of variable and throughput costing method is 6,500. So to arrive at your variable costing method, so V should be less than T. So therefore, we will deduct 6,500. So the answer is 15,400. Just the same. So whether you compute for the income of variable from the absorption or from the throughput costing method, the answer should be the same. So again, the answer is 15,400. Okay, so let's have more exercises, different problem design. So what do we have here? So we have a company that had an income of 40,000 using variable costing for a given period. So we have we are comparing absorption and variable costing. So for variable, how much income do we have? It says here it's 40,000. And then to continue, beginning and ending inventories for that period were 17,000 and 13,000 units. So beginning is 17,000, and then for ending, it is 13,000 units. Ignoring income taxes, if the fixed overhead application was 2 per unit, meaning the FOH per unit is just 2. Remember, if we compare absorption and variable, the only difference lies on the FOH component. Okay, so what would be the operating income under absorption costing? So we just compare the two. The difference is 4,000. Remember, the FOH per unit is 2. So therefore, the difference in the profit is 8,000. Now, so what would be your profit under absorption? Remember, you have to know the relationship between the beginning and ending. So beginning is greater than the ending, meaning your production is less than your sales. So again, we will follow the rule. If P is less than sales, A is less than V. So what would we do with the 8,000? Are we going to add or deduct? The answer is we're going to deduct and we will arrive with the answer of 32,000. So the answer is boy or B. All right. So let's proceed with number 2. So this time we have the income of 25,000 using absorption costing method. So under absorption, it's 25,000. Then that's for a given period. So we are now asked for the income under variable. Okay. So again, the difference would be on the uh, FOH per unit times the difference in the inventory. So it says here also that the beginning inventory and ending inventory would be 3,000 for beginning and then 9,000 for ending. So if you look at the beginning and ending, the difference is 6,000. And now we just have to multiply with the overhead rate, fixed overhead rate rather, of 4. So therefore, the difference is 24,000. The question is, are we going to add or deduct from the 25,000? So what do we do with the 24,000 difference? Remember, B is less than E. So therefore, the sign is different with that of the P and S. So P is greater than S. So that would mean that A is greater than V. So if that's the case, the 24,000 should be deducted. So the variable component, or I mean the profit under variable costing method is 1,000. So the answer is letter A. Now we will have another problem. This is quite a long problem wherein the planned level of activity is different from the actual level of activity. In all our examples in the lecture video before and in the previous slides, the planned level of activity is just the same with the actual level of activity. But this time, the planned level of activity is different from the actual because the company planned for 140,000 units, but the actual is just 130,000 units. So there will be difference in the overhead applied and then the overhead actual. So before we read the entire problem, let's take a look at the questions first. So what are the questions? Number 1, we are asked for the ending inventory under absorption. So it doesn't matter how long the problem is, we just have to get the data that we need. For number 2, we are asked for the finished goods under variable costing method. So again, what do we need to do? We just have to know the unit cost and multiply it with the number of units at the end of the period. And then for number 3, we are asked for the total fixed cost expense under absorption costing method. So, would there be difference if we make use of the variable costing method? And then the next one, how much is the total variable expense using variable costing method? And then for number 5, the difference in the operating income using absorption and variable costing method. Again, the difference, no matter how long the problem is, uh, the difference lies only on the change in the inventory, or difference in the inventory times the FOH per unit. And we are asked for actual manufacturing contribution margin, meaning it's just sales minus your variable manufacturing cost. It's important that you know what you need from the very long problem like this. Okay, so let's try to read the problem. So the Mesa Corporation employs absorption costing method or system for internal reporting purposes. However, the company is considering using variable costing. So data regarding Mesa's planned and actual operations for the calendar year are presented below. So what do we have here? So we have the beginning inventory of 35,000 as planned and the actual is 35,000. And then the planned production is 140,000, but only produced in actual 130,000. And the sales, it was forecasted to be 140,000, but the actual is just 125,000. Okay, so the planned per unit cost figures shown in the next schedule, which is at the bottom part of your screen. These were based on the estimated production and sale of 140,000 units for the year. So Mesa uses a predetermined manufacturing overhead rate for applying manufacturing overhead to its product. Thus, a combined manufacturing overhead rate of 9 per unit was employed for absorption costing purposes. So any over or under applied manufacturing overhead is closed to cost of goods sold account at the end of the reporting year. So meaning, the questions number 3 and number 4 will only be the somehow challenging questions because of this statement that any over or under is close to cost of goods sold, meaning that would affect the amount to be expensed because cost of goods sold is an expense account. Okay, just to continue, the beginning finished goods inventory for absorption costing purposes was valued at the previous year's planned unit manufacturing cost, which was the same as the current year's planned unit manufacturing cost. There are no work in process inventories at either the beginning or end of the year. The planned and actual unit selling price for the year was 70 per unit. So let's now answer. For number 1, we are only asked for the ending inventory. Let's check. How many units do we have at the beginning? So it's just beginning plus produced minus sold. So we have our ending. So how many units at the beginning? 35,000. Okay. How many units were produced? 130,000. How many units were sold? It's 25,000. So therefore, at the end of the period, how many units were left? So 35 plus 130 minus 25. So minus sold 125 rather. So the answer would be 40,000 units. So therefore, the ending inventory would be 40,000 units times the unit cost under absorption. So what is the unit cost under absorption? It was shown in the table at the bottom part of your screen that your direct materials, 12 per unit. Direct labor, it's 9. Variable and fixed overhead, the total is 9. 4 plus 5. And it was already mentioned here. Okay. So, under absorption costing method, we just have to add all these 4. So, how much would be the sum of this 4? 12 plus 9, it's 21 plus 4. 25 plus 5, it's 30 per unit. So, to answer number 1, we simply multiply 40,000 with 30 per unit. So, the answer is 1,200,000 or 1.2 million. All right. And then for number 2, we are asked for the ending inventory for variable costing method. Remember, we just have to exclude this time the fixed overhead per unit, which is 5. So therefore, the ending inventory under variable costing method is 40,000 multiplied by 25 per unit. So the answer is 1 million. So that's the answer in number 2. Okay, so let's now answer number 3. For number 3, we are asked for the total fixed cost expense. Okay, so remember, we are going to include any over or under applied. But we all know if we are asked how much would be expensed, and this is under absorption costing method, we will expense a fixed cost, which is part of the product cost based on the number of units sold. So that would be the FOH. The FOH being carried by the number of units sold, which is 125,000. And also, we are going to expense the fixed selling and administrative expenses and the fixed administrative expenses. So how much is your FOH expense? The FOH expense would be, remember, if we apply in the production the FOH of 5 per unit. So therefore, when we multiply that in the number of units sold, that would be the FOH component or the FOH expense this period. So that would be 125,000 units times 5. So that would give you 625,000. How about for fixed selling? So we have your fixed selling of 980,000. And then fixed admin of 425,000. We will take the incurred or actual cost because that is what we expense. Okay? So this planned cost will only be our guide or will be the budget, but this is based on the 140,000, but we will always have to adjust. We have to prepare flexible budget. But when we are asked for the amount to be expensed, so that would be the actual incurred cost. So for fixed selling, that would be 980,000. And then for your fixed admin, so that would be 425,000. Okay. So at this point, how much fixed cost do we have? That is 2,030,000. But remember, we have this statement that any over or under applied would be close to cost of goods sold, or in other words, if there is under or over applied, we're going to expense immediately. Okay, so if this is under applied, meaning we estimated less, therefore we are going to add. But if this is over applied, we have to deduct. Okay, so how do we get the over or under applied? How much is the FOH applied and how much is the FOH actual? Okay, so the FOH actual here is actually given. How much is the FOH actual? Actual, the incurred cost of 715,000. All right. And how much is the FOH applied? Remember, that is the OH rate. OH rate, you have to multiply with the actual level of activity. The OH rate or the FOH rate, how much is that? The FOH rate is 5. We have to multiply it with the actual level of activity, which is 130,000. Remember, you produced 130,000, but you only sold 125,000. The 5,000 would be left in the inventory. So there, but still, meaning the over and under applied, all of the amount would be close to cost of goods sold. So therefore, 130,000 times 5, that would give you how much? 650,000. So therefore, the FOH applied is 650,000. We will not use the 700,000 because this one is based on the planned level of production of 140,000. But remember, the actual is just 130. Okay, so we only apply based on the actual. So the difference is how much? This is 65,000. So what do we have here? Over, under applied. We applied 650. So the actual is 715. So meaning we are under applied. So meaning the cost is underestimated. So therefore we are going to add the adjustment of 65,000. So the answer in this item is 2,095,000. Okay. So that would be your answer in number 3. And that is actually your fixed cost expense under absorption costing method. Okay. So we have explained the full story but there is actually a shortcut. If we are asked for the fixed cost expense, we just have to consider how much would be the total fixed cost incurred. Remember, the total fixed cost incurred. The fixed cost incurred amounted to how much? That would be your fixed overhead, your fixed selling, and fixed admin. The total of 715, 780, and 425,000 would be 2,120,000. But remember, in absorption costing method, you have to defer some amount because of the number of units were left unsold. Remember, the fixed cost that you are going to defer would be equivalent to the 5,000 units left in the ending inventory times the 5 per unit of your FOH, and that is equivalent to 25,000. And the difference is 2,095,000. So that would be your fixed cost expense during the year. So again, I've just told you the entire story, but this is the shortcut. You always have to consider the actual because at the end of the month, at the end of the day, you have to bring your cost towards the actual amount. Because when we apply overhead, we only try to estimate. But at the end of the year, at the end of the period, we always have to bring everything back to the actual. That's why we close to cost of goods sold. Okay. Okay. So again, just to summarize the shortcut. So at the end of the day, we always have to bring everything back to the actual. So when we are asked under absorption costing method for the total amount of fixed costs to be expensed during the year, so we just have to consider all the fixed costs that are actual. Okay, but since this is absorption, remember some fixed costs or fixed overhead would be part of the ending inventory. So therefore, that would be the fixed overhead deferred. So we will deduct the FOH deferred. So the FOH actual again is your fixed overhead of 715,000. So that's 715. And then FOH, I mean 715 plus 980,000. Okay, and plus 425,000. The total amount of your fixed cost would be, so let's just get the total amount. So that would be 2,120,000. Okay, so for the FOH deferred, that would be for the 5,000 units at the end of the period times the 5 pesos of your FOH per unit, which is 25,000. So that would be 2,095,000. All right. Because again, in absorption costing method, the FOH component would be only expense when the number of when that particular units were sold. But since there are 5,000 left in the inventory, so that would be deferred and would be deducted to the fixed cost expense during the period. But if we are asked under the variable costing method, okay, so variable costing method rather. So how much do we expense? The entire fixed cost incurred or the actual of 2,120,000 would be expensed immediately because remember, under variable costing method, all FOH would be expensed immediately. None will be deferred because FOH is not part of the product cost. Okay, but to answer number three, the answer is 2,095,000. So it's either you make use of the long story a while ago, wherein we consider the over or under applied fixed overhead, or we can just make use of the shortcut under absorption or even another variable costing method. Okay, so let's answer number four. How much this time would be the total variable cost expense using the variable costing method? So in this case, we just have to identify all the variable costs that would be expensed. First, with regards of with the number of units sold, the variable manufacturing cost that includes your DM, DL, and VOH, DM, DL, and your variable overhead that is for 25 pesos per unit. And remember, we are able to sell 125,000 units times 25. That would be your variable manufacturing cost to be expensed. And then we are going to include the variable selling and then the variable administrative expenses. And these two are still based on the number of units sold. So 125,000 times the variable selling of 8 pesos per unit. And for the variable admin, so we have here 2 pesos per unit. So meaning we multiply 125,000 by 2. And when we get the total here, the total amount of your variable cost would be 4,375,000. Again, we always have to check the VOH applied versus the actual. So the VOH applied versus the VOH actual. Your VOH actual, oh, no, no. Yes, VOH actual is 520,000. So we have here 520,000. But how much VOH was applied? It says here the planned VOH to be incurred is 560, but we always have to consider it should be the OH rate, the VOH rate times the actual level of activity. The VOH rate is 4. So that would be 4 times the actual level of activity, which is 130,000. So therefore, the VOH applied is 520,000 as well. So therefore, there is no over or under applied variable overhead. So therefore, the answer here would be final. That is the amount of variable cost expense during the year under variable costing method. And actually, even in under absorption costing method, the total variable cost expense would be the same. Why? Because under both variable and costing method, all the variable components are the same. Okay? So, just in case there is over or under applied, that would be reflected here. Again, if this is under applied, you have to add. If this is over applied, you have to deduct. But since there is no over or under applied, therefore, the answer here, 4,375,000 would be the final. Again, that is for both the variable and absorption costing methods. All right. So we are down to the last two questions. For number 5, we are asked for the difference in the operating income under absorption and variable costing method. Remember, the difference would be the difference in the inventory multiplied with the difference in the unit cost. Okay, so the difference in the inventory is 5,000. Right? Because it's either we compare the PNS, the production and sales, or we compare the beginning with the 40,000 of ending inventory. So the difference would be 5,000 from both comparisons. And then we multiply the difference in the unit cost. Remember, for absorption and variable costing method, the difference in the unit cost would only be the FOH per unit. So multiply it with 5. So the answer is 25,000. Okay, so the difference in the income would be 25,000. So which one is higher, absorption or variable? So remember here, P is greater than S. You produce 130,000, you sold 125,000. So P is greater than S. So meaning the income under absorption is greater than the income under variable costing method by the amount of 25,000 pesos. And then lastly, we're asked for the actual manufacturing contribution margin. So that would only be your sales less your variable manufacturing cost. Remember, your selling price is 70 per unit, this one. And then the variable manufacturing cost per unit is 12 plus 9 plus 4, 25. So the difference in the in the unit cost would be 45 and multiply it with the number of units sold, which is 125,000. So 45 times 125,000, that would give you 5,625,000. So that is the actual manufacturing contribution margin. Okay, so that would be a comprehensive problem. What if the planned level is different from the actual level of activity? But if you look at all the problems that we have discussed, there will only be challenges if the plan level will not be the same as the actual level of activity. But normally, in all the problems that we have solved, all the planned level of activities are equal to the with the actual level of activities. All right. So I hope that we have learned again from our review session. So if you have questions, you can just send an email to rcroca@pup.edu.ph. Again, thank you so much. And this is just one part of our management services review. Again, thank you.